Hi, I'm Danielle, and I love TV. How do the people even get in there? Nobody knows. But with all that stellar programming, it seems like people are always asking which of the latest hits I'm binging. But what if I told you I'm not watching any of those shows? Here are the shows I'm pretending to watch and what I'm actually watching instead. Game of Thrones. Too dark, too quiet. How can I tell 50 identical British people apart if I can't see or hear them? If people ask if I've seen Game of Thrones, I say yes. I love Barnthar of Dorvendar. So far, no one knows I made that up. But I do love uncensored violence. So I watch Real Housewives compilations that are only the fights.
From Ramona versus Bethany to Nene versus Andy Cohen, these Karens drag ass.
Sure, Game of Thrones has dragons, but did Jon Snow go to federal prison and come back with a rock-hard body and new highlights? I don't know. I've never seen it. But what about Friends? Such a classic. Pivot. I don't know what that means. I've never seen it. People always say it's so fun, but I've gotten coffee with white people, and honestly, how fun could it be? Rachel, Chase, Rob, Monica, Francesca. Did I get any of those right? But when I want to see a crazy cast of characters, I'm watching bootleg episodes of Judge Judy that are zoomed in too close.
You never really understand a dispute over a pit bull biting a toddler until you've seen grainy close-ups of everyone's teeth and the video ends before the verdict.
And who could forget This Is Us? I could, because I've never seen it. This Is Us gives me big live, laugh, love energy. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. This Is Us has surprise after surprise, or so I'm told. But when I want to stay on the edge of my seat, I'm watching time-lapse videos of food rotting.
I didn't know that Diet Coke could grow mold, but now I do. And now you have to know it too.
I'm not really sure what I get out of this, but I am absolutely sure that I cannot stop. Pivot! Was that right? The Mandalorian. Show your face or shut up, ugly. Lost. Am I right? The Sopranos. Tony Soprano makes me too horny. So, would you rather watch this or this? You be the judge, Judy. Happy viewing!
Hi, I'm Laura Canty Samuel, and I'm your host. Welcome to the Goss. When it comes to news and culture, we have lots of opinions. America is starting to open up. People are getting back to their normal routines. As the Goss team took stock of the past year, we realized that we spent a lot of time in front of television screens. This week, the Goss team is talking about what we've been at home binge watching for the past year. It was a long year, so we binged a lot. And I have to admit, all I've been doing is watching skin flicks. Skin, and more skin. I'm going to say it. I've been watching the pornos.
Laura, that's Queen Sugar, that's not a porno.
Beautiful people doing nasty things in a hot and steamy location.
Hot and steamy location?
Louisiana. Humidity is off the charts in Louisiana. Sounds like the pornos to me.
Laura, have you ever watched porn?
That's what I'm telling everyone I've been doing right now. I've been watching Queen Sugar. Queen Sugar follows the story of the Bordelon family of Louisiana. I've been to Louisiana, and no offense, but people from Louisiana don't look like these people. There are no people from anywhere who look like these people. That's how you know it's a porno. Now this is Ralph Angel Bordelon. Single father, ex-convict. What kind of jail was he in? Convicts don't have cheekbones like these. Okay, I stand corrected. Ralph Angel may be a struggling man-child with a horrible interpersonal skills and stunted emotions, but look at that skin. Now this is Ralph Angel's baby mama, Darla. She's supposed to be a crack addict. Now, granted, she's supposed to be on the road to recovery, but I've seen recently recovering crack addicts. Their makeup was not flawless, and their hair was not bouncing and behaving. And talk about edging. Look at her edging.
Laura, that's not what edging is.
I'm a black woman. I think I know how hair and its edging work. And look at her skin. Now this is Nova Bordelon, writer, community activist, part-time weed dealer, self-possessed, self-centered, stunning. What? Look at that skin. When did skin even become this color? When did it even become an option? Is it real? And this is our boyfriend, Calvin. This is supposed to be a cop. Fake cop means party stripper, which means porno. This is the kind of blue life that matters, though. Now this is the youngest sister, Charlie Bordelon West. Mother, high-powered manager of her star basketball player husband. She's a megalomaniac narcissist, and he's a pathological egotist piece of trash. But damn Teen Light Skin is going in and in and in and in. Now this is Aunt Vi. She is the glue that holds the Bordelon family together. She is wise and sincere, but not without faults, none of which are her impeccable skin. I'm gonna say it. She is a total MILF, the kind of miss I live for. And look at this piece of chocolate heaven right here. This is Aunt Vi's fiance, Hollywood Desanay. I dare say, Holly Good. Look at his skin. I can't take my eyes off of this skin. How can all of these people with this range of skin tones be on the screen at the same time under the same lighting and look so amazing together? What kind of porno movie magic are we dealing with here?
Laura, is there any real actual sex going on between naked people and Queen Sugar?
There are some love-making scenes, but honestly, who wants to see that?
Hey Goss fam! When it comes to binging, two things come to mind for me. One, snacks, and two, murder. So I now present to you which TV binging snack you are, according to what true crime documentary you're watching. Making a murderer. You are a purist. You came into Serial at the ground floor, okay? And you have your rights memorized in case you're ever framed for murder and find yourself in a police interrogation room. You're a timeless classic, babe. And for that reason, you're snacking on cheese puffs. I'll be gone in the dark. Nerd. You're a program manager by day and an armchair detective by night, okay? Everything is about the puzzle for you. No crime you can't solve with a hot, fresh, steaming cup of coffee and a good bullet journal. You're snacking on homemade muffins and providing a gluten-free option for whoever's joining you. The Vow. Since starting episode 1, you've sent multiple sassy retorts to Nicole from high school who keeps Facebook messaging you about buying knives from her MLM. But ironically enough, you would join the Church of Goop if Gwyneth Paltrow were to start one. You love skincare. You got yourself a dang charcuterie board. Murder Among Mormons. You're a true crime documentary veteran with some deep-seated issues about authority. You understand that every crime has multiple nuanced sides, but there is no greater crime than having a compelling doc with only 3-part episodes. You're pissed and you're shoveling cold leftovers down your face. The Staircase. Okay, you're a bisexual icon. You know enough not to get caught up in the court of public opinion and to stick to the facts. And by the facts, I mean 2 words, 1 compound word, micro feathers. You're a real one and you're snacking on those limited edition Chromatica Oreos, babe. Keep it up. Tiger King. You don't even know what true crime is. You were just trying to make it through the quarantine and have something to talk about with anyone that was willing to FaceTime with you. What you're snacking on is the Four Loko you've had stashed in your closet since your college years when they were outlawed. And you're gonna chug it the second you've got double vaxxed and gonna be out here being an absolute villain. Channeling Carol Baskins. Godspeed.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe contains some of the most dazzling moments of cinematography and genius screenwriting out there. And in this segment, we're going to say fuck all that because the MCU needs to treat its Asian characters better. Here are all the crimes that the MCU has committed against Asians.
My hands?
It's not about your hands.
How is this not a...
White guy walks into a temple and beats Asians at their own game.
Try me, Beyonce.
Asian people know who Beyonce is.
What I want, you can't give me.
White guy loses his entire family in a natural disaster, so he takes it out on the Asians.
Functionality is instantaneous. The cells don't know.
Oh look, an attractive Korean doctor.
If you brought him to my lab, the regeneration cradle.
Wow. Attractive Korean doctor smiles quirkily while the big strong man tuck on the big hammer. Why are you trashing Seoul? What did Seoul do to you?
I wouldn't go in there for 20 minutes.
White guy plays racist Asian stereotypes that you're too afraid to have an Asian play.
나이로 비해서는 친구들이 부자예요. 좋은 분들이에요.
살고 좋아하는 애라고.
Are these people trying to speak Korean? Stop trashing Seoul!
You knew all along. Is that why we never hung out? No, I just never liked you.
Gemma Chan is wasted on this movie. Stop trashing Seoul! Oh, wait, that's not Marvel. Finally, a movie with an all-Asian American cast and lead. Thank you, Marvel. Wait, his superpower is just Kung Fu? You're dead to me. Tilda Swinton? You thought I forgot about you? No, I didn't.
It's me again, Greg Cornejo from The Goss. During the pandemic, a lot of us had free time to watch shows that we've never seen before. I took this opportunity to brush up on my mother colonizer's tongue, Spanish. So I decided to watch a critically acclaimed show, 30 Coins, or 30 Monedas. It had to do with the 30 coins that Judas was given for ratting out Jesus. It really be your own people. And those coins were important to some evil sect in the Vatican. Perfect. It had everything. Religion, the paranormal, sleuthing, and the right amount of consensual titty. Titty? Oh my... Listen, there's a death or a breast in the first 5 minutes of any HBO series. You know I'm right. But as I watched this, I began to hate it. But why, Greg? The show has everything, right? It does. But let me give you a little backstory. I'm from the Americas. My family is from South America. I watched shows created in North America, which were mostly Mexican. And I grew up with Caribbeans in South America. Although there are different dialects, for the most part, our Spanish is the same. To put it in context, it's like the Queen's English versus a standard American accent, which, although I may have wished death upon Prince Philip, I was still able to get through the crown. So just imagine a pompous British accent with a forced lisp. It's literally an unnecessary lisp, created because people want to sound like King Ferdinand. It's almost 600 years later and people are still talking like that. I hope I can create a TikTok dance that lasts this. Get them views, baby. These people choose to speak like this. Fun fact, there are no speech therapists in Spain, so they're all soaking everybody with their lispy juices. And I'm not enjoying myself. I just rage watch this fucking show. It was like Mystery Science Theater 3000, except it was Misterio Ciencia Teatro 3000. So it's just me in the dark, alone, yelling from the couch at the TV, correcting the actors the whole time. Estamos en pedraza. No, it's estamos en pedraza. Jesús es desaparecido. Jesús es desaparecido. Come on. Gracias. Gracias! Just say thank you! It's easy! Gracias! This verbal atrocity, flying into a rage. These people took over mass swaths of indigenous lands, using words like joder instead of chingar. They both mean fuck, but chingar just sounds better. I finished watching the show. It was alright. Oddly, I came across this article. Joder, me voy para España.
Hey Goss fan, so I wanted to show you what I've been binging, and it's real life, raw, uncut, real life. Check it out, look at it, all around me. Oh, you haven't seen real life? You got it, it's full HD, surround sound, so many seasons. But this is one of my favourite shows, it's called Gentrification, it's going pretty well. It's in its 6th season. Look at this tree. I don't know what it is, life doesn't come with subtitles, but look at it. This white guy, my favourite character. We just missed the rap! Just to be clear, this isn't me saying I'm better than you just because I'm not watching TV. It is me implying it. Look at these Fast and Furious guys. Real life! Life! Sometimes you can even see people having sex in that park. Not today. Look at this, I got my cat videos all sorted out. Yo, you're on the Goss, the Litverse. Hey buddy, have you heard of the Litverse? No? Real life! Out here on the courts doing my sports, he dribbles, he runs, he shoots. I should get a basketball. There's another rap. We're reading a lot of like graffiti, it's like the language of the streets. See all the stuff that people are saying, there's content. Still a rich killed NYC. Right on. Yeah. Though I am rich, so like, you know, I'm one of the good ones. My TV's broken and my internet doesn't work. Please.
Hey. Hey. What is good? Other than the Goss.
Glad we could pull you away from your porn.
Oh.
Part of the show.
You know, that show, those people are beautiful. I mean, I just don't even understand how. I don't. I'm like, they're pretty and they can act. It's just amazing. I mean, it's just
disgusting.
It is. I mean, it's like we see a lot of attractive people, you know, into entertainment, but just like the skin quality, it just looks like you could reach out and like scoop it with a finger.
And it's just that we don't get to see that many good-looking Black people in one place unless it's a Beyonce video. So it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. A lot to take in. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Hello.
Friday. Thank God it's Friday, right, everybody? Am I the first person to ever say that?
Yes, you're the first.
Yes. Well, let's introduce ourselves to the people out there tonight and in the future. I'm Laura Canty Samuel, and I'm from Brooklyn, but right now I'm in Massachusetts.
Wonderful.
Woo woo.
I'm Pavar, and I'm in New Jersey, and I'm drinking a wonderful glass of boxed wine.
Ooh, lovely.
How very New Jersey. We love that.
Yes. Danielle.
Hello, I am Danielle. I'm coming to you from Brooklyn, New York. Hello.
You guys, Danielle is always perfectly coiffed. You know, she always, you know, puts together these fabulous ensembles. It looks like, you know, you have on actual silks and satins tonight.
Thank you so much. It's faux. This was from Shein.com. It's not ethical. Shein.com. Please sponsor the Goss Gab. Shein.com. That would be wonderful. I will look the other way on all child labor accusations. I will look away from those children.
Thank you for that.
I say if a kid wants to work, give a kid a job.
Give a kid a job.
Exactly. Put those kids to work. Biden promised us job creation, and Shein.com is making it happen.
That's amazing. I mean, really, when we look back at history, kids were starting like major companies when they were just like 12, and people set out when they were 8 years old, you know, to go.
Look at iCarly. She worked from the time she was 10 years old.
Media
that
mogul.
iCarly.
Yes.
And these kids, they're slacking. True Jackson, VP. She was the vice president of company. Okay. Man, let's keep Palmer.
Another icon. We have Michelle. Michelle, what's up?
Oh, I was gonna be like, Greg. Hi, I'm Michelle, and I am coming from Brooklyn, New York, as well.
Yes.
That's right.
It looks like Michelle has on a nice cotton. Is that a nice cotton you're wearing? Cotton top? Is it 100%?
Cotton, an H&M shirt that I have made last from senior year of high school until my late 20s.
Oh, well, now you can
sustainability.
You can never get rid of it now.
No,
never.
Now it has to stay with you.
Yes, I'm committing to sustainability, as in never buying new clothes.
Exactly. That's what the world needs. Maybe it's not what retail needs, but it's what the world needs.
A Calvin Klein sweatshirt that I've had since the 90s. Since original Calvin Klein was in, now it's in again, and I can still keep the shirt. I can't. I have to be buried in it at this point.
It's probably worth a lot of money too.
That are made of plastic and you have to throw them away after one wear. Shein.com. Shein.com.
Friend of the pod. Friend of the show. Shein.com.
I change my wardrobe every time I leave. I break up with my partners. So they usually end up with my old clothes and then I buy new clothes afterwards. Is that a good thing? Or
I think that's great.
You leave keepsakes around. I don't know. So Greg, tell us who you are. What are you wearing?
Hi, my name is Greg Cornejo. I'm from the Goss, and coming from Newark, New Jersey, the Brick City.
All right,
incredibly cool.
Yeah, I know.
And who are you wearing tonight, Greg?
I'm wearing probably a wholesale T-shirt that I bought on 28th Street. It's black. I have about 7 of these, and it looks like I wear the same clothes every day.
Okay, you know what you like, and you stick to it. You have your thing.
Yeah,
it's a signature look, Greg.
It is a signature look. It's like Steve Jobs, but without the money.
Okay, but you're on the way to making that money.
I'm on the way.
Yes.
Because either I'm getting Melinda, or I'm getting Bill, but one of those two.
You have to keep those options open.
We got to keep them open because somebody's going to make me happy.
Very well. but what's that, Kmart?
No, I was going to say, Laura, you didn't ask me, but I'm wearing head to toe TJ Maxx tonight.
Yes, Maximista in the house.
Yeah.
I can't be in there now. That's scary. Because the lines are always long in Marshalls.
Oh yeah.
TJ Maxx. I'm sorry, it's not TJ Maxx, but
same company.
They're similar. They're similar. It's the same company, right? Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah, it's the same.
But like the lines are always long by the one by me. So and then people get uncomfortably sassy unnecessarily. And I don't need to deal with all that. I'll just order it and somebody will bring it to my house.
Yeah.
That's like Trader Joe's here. People get I used to love Trader Joe's in Orlando. Here, it's like my personal hell. There's nowhere on earth that I would least rather be. Does that make any sense? Least rather be. There's no place on earth that I would rather be less than Trader Joe's. I hate it. And the last time I was there, an old lady was like, "This is not the front of the line." And I was like, "I'm not in line." Leave me alone. Never speak to me.
Now, was this Trader Joe's at the DeKalb Market?
It was the one, it was in Manhattan, I think. But I'm not sure.
Okay.
I blacked out.
The one on 17th Street is for savages. That's it. No civilized people go to the one on 17th Street.
I really think it was the one on 17th. It was somewhere around Union Square.
No, it's gotta be. It's gotta be. Yeah. It was a bad Trader Joe experience. It happened on 17th Street. They don't know how to act, and it should be condemned. I mean, it should be closed down. And
then a man outside tried to sell me a new electricity company, and I was like, "No, I'm okay." And he started berating me on the street.
Oh my
God! You don't want to take a planet. He knew you shopped at Shein, man. He knew you shopped at Shein. He knew it. He was like, you know what? You don't want to save the earth.
Literally, he was like, oh, you don't care about the earth? You don't want to save money on, like, he's getting like very angry. And I was like, you can stop all of that right now. You can stop that right now, sir. Don't you do that with me. I'm not the 1, 2, or the 3, 4. Don't do it.
I think they make commission on it, and then they get like residual income off of it. So they're really trying to make these sales.
Yeah,
I get it. Don't go with me, sir. You stay right there in front of the Trader Joe's.
You know, I think I may have told you guys before. I once did like one day working for New Jersey Purge, and it's awful. You know, you go someplace and you have to convince someone to sign up, donate money or whatever, and it really is not. It's not any fun, and you really have to have some type of I guess a shark-like sensibility to like not care who you harass.
Right. It's a game of numbers. Yeah, you got to keep on and keep on. Eventually, somebody will say, "Yeah," but like, I got caught in Carroll Gardens of all places. I think it was like the ASPCA, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'll donate once," and then they turned it to a membership.
Okay.
So then I would get charged every month for the thing. I was like, "Yo, I ain't donating shit now."
Yeah, and I try to tell people, I'm like, listen, because I'm a pretty polite person, so sometimes I will listen a little bit, and like, but I say, you're really wasting your time right now. Like, I understand, I appreciate what you're doing, but like right now, you're talking to me and you're trying to convince me. You really could probably do better with someone else, because I'm just not going to do it, and I'm like trying to let them know to move on, but I guess they think because the lady stopped,
right?
You know, I give them a false sense of security. I've told people, you know, people who sell things. Yeah, you have friends who take on these new like business ventures. They want to sell you things. Oh, you can practice on me, but I just don't shop like that. Like,
I love that when my friends are selling stuff, I will buy anything, anywhere. I love being like, show me your little shop, like what's going on? Because I know people like love talking about that stuff. So I'm like, I love when people like talk about their little shop and what they're doing, and like the things they're selling. Like, I love that. And I will buy
business is different than pyramid scheme, though.
Yeah,
true.
Most of the people,
if they're trying to get the sapphire level, then I don't think we need to have that conversation.
I can't stand when I get caught up in somebody. Do you have friends who make little shopping parties on their Facebook, and then they add you to this? Whoever has Facebook, they add you to their shopping party on Facebook, and then you're just constantly getting notifications about somebody's sassy nails.
I'll
and I'm
block
like,
them.
I don't even do nails. I don't even do my nails. This is not something I do. But we've been friends for a long time, so I have to keep getting these notifications, and it's not fair.
Blocked. Unfollow. Mute for 30 days. Mute for 30 days. That's it.
Oh, I don't, because many times I'm like, I already have it. You know, if I wanted some nail polish, or if I wanted like a back scrubber, or whatever these things are, you know, I just donated like to a friend's daughter. You know, actually did start a new she's working on a new nail polish brand or what have you, and it's supposed to be environmentally friendly or whatever. So I did go ahead and donate to that, because I'm like, you know, listen, young woman of color. You know, like BIPOC woman doing this thing. So I'm like, yes, I'll overpay for the, you know, nail polishes to support, because I want her to be a success. But then I have like other friends who are just grown people, and I'm like, you have known me. Like, when have I ever like bought like 50 pounds of beef, and I'm not buying it from you?
50 pounds of beef.
That is so
wow.
I don't want an extra 5 pounds if I sell like 50 to someone else. I'm not in the beef game, you know.
I'm not either. We having a barbecue, open up a restaurant. That's it.
And it's the same beef. It's like, I sell you 50 pounds of beef, and then you have to sell it to somebody else.
Oh,
it's like, this cursed meat.
We're not doing it. Doing it. But there's a lot of funny stuff going on in the news, or interesting at least. And I really want to hear about Alex Rodriguez right now from Paybar. What is going on?
So A-Rod is trying to find a way to cover up his tears. As you know, he and J-Lo broke up a couple of weeks ago, and J-Lo has already quickly moved on with Ben Affleck back with the ex, apparently. But in the meantime, he has actually come out with his own line of makeup for men. And it's actually called His, right? And it's like a concealer stick. Ladies, a good concealer stick is great for when you're on the go. It's called Hims, actually. And yeah, it's just like a little thing that he decided to invest in because sometimes when he's on the go in between appearances, he wants to do something to cover up his blemishes or his razor bumps. And he and J-Lo have actually invested in this company together. And now she's busy. And so he's going to just keep this party rolling with his new line of makeup for men. And not because a lot of times, there is a new trend of men wearing makeup, but typically it's more kind of like YouTubers and guys who are like truly like, into a full contour and all that kind of stuff. But this is makeup for men who are, we would say, more metrosexual and who aren't necessarily the ones who you might usually see wearing makeup. So, Greg, would you wear the Hims concealer stick?
Hell no.
Would you?
No. And it has nothing to do with wearing concealer. Like, you can do that. Men should be able to beautify themselves as well, right? Like, but I'm gonna make a mess. I make a mess already. Like, I can't eat right, so I always get like stains and stuff on myself. If I have concealer on my face, it may come off, and then I don't want to get it on my clothes already. Like, everything's just gonna be messy. I'm gonna look messy.
Well, there's like concealer sprays that you can spritz on. Danielle, don't you these things?
I actually used to do makeup. And when I worked for Clinique and I worked for Estee Lauder companies, and I used to do makeup for guys. Guys would come in and say, "Oh, I'm getting redness. I'm doing this." Like, I think that, obviously everyone should be able to wear makeup as much or as little as they want to. I love that more men are getting involved in the makeup industry. I personally hate the idea of makeup for men. Like, I think it should be like makeup for everybody and not be like, don't buy that lady makeup. You're a man with big old balls. You need this makeup for him, not for her. If you wear that, you're a lady. Like, I hate that idea. And I think it's like predatory on the fears of men. Like, just put on some MAC, and like MAC compact packs are like sleek black. Like, you don't have to buy A-Rod's. Like, A-Rod doesn't have to sell you makeup. Like, you can just wear makeup, dude. Like, your balls will not fall off. I swear.
I have to say, men like wearing makeup or like getting their like hair done and so on. There are a lot of things that I just was not aware of even before like learning about A-Rod here. Like, there are a lot of men who have like these thick heads of hair and these thick beards. I just thought that they had strong hair genes. And then I found out through the YouTubes that they also are getting weaves. And like, there are things like beard weaves. And I dropped it into our little production chat. So when Greg is ready, he can play that so we can see what's going on and how men are taking advantage of weave situation.
A beard weave?
I did bring in a nice natural hair, and I have me some glue. We're going to put it in step by step. It's a process, but it's going to look incredible.
Wait, I need more.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, guys.
No worries. We'll
right now, he has a giant pubic bush on his face.
That looks nasty.
This man had a push.
Wait, 50?
I think this is not the same video.
God damn you.
Yeah, go back.
I'm doing it. Technical difficulties,
Anyone
y'all.
remember those episodes of America's Next Top Model where they had that guy Denzel and they gave him a beard weave? It was like a black guy for the Thai makeovers. It was like I think it was like season 2.0 where they had men and women, maybe 2.2. And so they gave him like a beard weave, but it was a glue-on, number one, so he broke out in a rash horribly. And two, it was like straight weave, and it was a black man. So it looked absolutely insane. And then they kicked him off and they were like, your beard just doesn't look believable. He was like,
oh my God.
Are you crazy? And they're like, you couldn't make your beard work.
Listen, Tyra has always been savage as fuck on that damn show.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
All right. Nice natural hair, and I have me some glue. We're gonna put it in step by step. It's a process, but it's gonna look incredible.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know you got that Dominican lineup.
I feel like this is something my coworkers laugh immediately. Should I rock this over here?
Yeah, you must do.
I mean, you have to.
So he has this beard now.
So I looked at myself. Oh my God! I'm like DJ Khaled. People who don't know you, they will think it's real.
Well, thank you, Greg.
It's funny. I feel like a hipster. So I'm.
Are a lot of men walking around, just like there are a lot of women wearing weaves, but there are a lot of men now walking around with hair weaves and beard weaves. I did not anticipate the fact that I see a lot of these nice full beards. I just didn't know that it was a piece.
Where can I get this?
Yes.
I've been trying 40 years to get facial hair, and I just have this.
Right?
Make a little bit of this.
A lot of men say that.
And I've been doing and eating the things that people say put hair on your face, and nothing.
But they sell even like the little sprays. So the sprays are actually super cool. They have these fiber sprays that instead of having like powder pigment, they have pigment mixed with like little tiny like filaments.
Yeah.
So when you spray it on, it literally sprays on like hair. And you can use them to like fill in your beard or like fill in your hairline or like fill your eyebrows, and they look pretty good. Like you have to kind of play with them and like finesse them, but they look pretty cool.
Some dudes look a little crazy. Some dudes walk around with the jet black fill-in spray with the super straight line on their face, looking insane. It's not. Some people need to calm down.
And then as soon as it rains, it all disappears. They have like that powder to do the edges. You just don't. Hey, it's okay. You're balding. That's fine. That's fine. It's right. It's beautiful. It's good. That's life. It happens.
Yeah, but I guess people want to stay as I can't even say youthful, because not even a youthful thing. It's just about you having, I guess, again, good hair genes. They want to show. I don't know. I guess it makes you virile, right?
I guess but it's gonna make you like. Doesn't it give you pimples and stuff like the more you grow hair or something? I don't know because I don't have hair on my face. I don't know how that works. You get like ingrown hairs, you get pimples and stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what the cost of beauty? Like a lot of women end up with like alopecia because of weaves, constantly like the pulling of the hair it causes some baldness. But they're willing to take that chance because people like to see a nice full head of hair. Yeah. At least that's what they say.
That is what I've heard that. Yeah.
Wait, so what's more important? I guess it's individuals, right? But like, what's more important, the head of hair or the beard?
Good question.
I like a beard. I don't mind a bald guy. I really like beards.
Okay.
But I think that's just...
I think you just have to know what's going on. You got to know what you're working with and like pick a style that like works for you with either one. You know what I mean? If you're balding, that's fine, but like know how to rock it and like do your thing. You know what I mean? If you don't have a beard, if you can't grow a beard, that's fine, but like make sure it's like tidy. You know what I mean?
And there's a market for everybody. There's definitely a market for bald men. So I hate when I see men are like gluing their like shit to their head. Like there's a market for you. Women love that.
Yeah.
Or like the men, like they still do like the comb over. There's this guy I knew, and he, he had like the George Jeff mostly around the sides, right? And he had, but what he did is he had his hair cornrowed, and so, but he had a cornrow over, so because he just had, he had enough to right it over, and then like this part was bald, but then the braid would come over and catch over here. But that was his thing. Who am I?
True.
Who am I to say anything? That was his thing. He rocked it. I wouldn't have done it, but listen, what do I know? So yeah, see, check it out.
Did you see this dude who was addicted to bleaching hair? He was addicted to it. It was like using 3 bottles of this stuff a day.
Oh my gosh.
He was walking around like he thought. Who thought? How did he think? Anybody thought?
Oh
this?
I can see his forehead again. I love that.
Somebody's dead. Yeah, I can't. Oh my gosh. And I'm sure he thought it looked great.
Yeah. Fantastic. I think
That is very delusional.
Stuff too. I think he's an ex-football player, this guy.
Really?
Oh,
yeah. And he does funny. I don't know if this is silly, but he does funny stuff too. I think, what's his name? Stacey Adams or something like that.
Maybe this was a joke then.
Maybe it was a joke.
Yeah, I hope it was a joke.
But
Those 2 parts, I think the parts is what's really getting me.
I've seen people pretty close to that though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, could you imagine going on to a dating app and seeing this? I don't know. How do you feel about that, Danielle?
If I wasn't married, that's a big thumbs up over here. It's very interesting. The built-in sweatband with the Adidas stripe, I love it. And ex-football player, love that.
Okay. So everyone else, like thumbs up.
Imagine seeing that person in real life. I have to. That's a big yes for me. I want a first date with that man.
Again, I'll get it all over my clothes. I don't have any control over myself. I can't. At least look clean, at all costs.
But it was like nice and lined up. I mean, it was sharp.
Sure, but was it? I mean, once it starts raining or he starts sweating, that's all over. He's done.
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess.
And you don't want to be there to see that, Greg? I want to.
I mean, I'll tell him some of my black T-shirts. I have plenty to be sold. I might make a profit off of him.
Yeah, he'd probably start looking like Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, sweating on his side. The doo-doo sweat, the diarrhea sweat on his face.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, let's segue away from this topic. And I want to let Michelle talk to us a little bit about some serious news.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really have a comedic take on this. I'm sort of just pissed.
Yes.
So essentially, Sarah Wilder, who was a reporter with Associated Press, was fired because someone discovered a tweet from her college years at Stanford when she was an activist and she was like actively pro-Palestine. And so she had comments that were saying free Palestine, et cetera, and she was fired for essentially being anti-Israel, anti-Semitic, which are erroneously conflated a lot of the time, right? And especially in this case, because Wilder actually is Jewish, and And the comments were not targeted toward like the verbiage wasn't any like anti-Jewish tropes or anything. It was just free Palestine, right? Like advocating for the oppressed people, and was fired. And so like this is frustrating because it really shows the power of the Israel lobby, because a lot of major news sources, right, and like even liberal ones like New York Times and stuff like have a really intense pro-Israel agenda. So it really shows like how powerful that lobby is, right? And how like free speech is not really a thing if you don't align with like the hegemony of the ruling class, right? And then it's also frustrating because it's kind of like there are so many journalists who are very clear about their political stances and very clear about their opinions, right? That, I mean, I would say most television news is extremely, extremely biased in either direction. And this speech, right, this speech that she had was labeled hate speech, right? Because anything that is considered anti-Israel is considered anti-Semitic. And so it just shows that like the effort of the Israel lobby to conflate those things intentionally so that no one can speak against a corrupt state, right? Without being seen as anti-Semitic. And that's what they want, right? So that no one can question that, and then they shut it down. And sort of woke culture buttresses that and supports that. And so this is one of like, I think the bad sides of woke culture, in the sense that we really lean into identity politics, and any comment can be shut down immediately, even though this was said by a Jewish person. And so that is very frustrating, and free speech is a myth. The end. Sorry, that was so serious.
Yes, we have learned a lot in this moment. No, I have to say this idea of like anti-Semitism. Okay, we know that it's a real thing and that is horrible. However, I really have a hard time when it comes to me just like not liking like a specific person or thing. It's like no, I can dislike you and I can dislike this action or this group of actions and not be like anti an entire people, but I can say this thing is wrong and I should be able to do that, but we're not allowed to do that. As you said, it's all conflated, that you're against every part of like Judaism and Israel or what have you. If you say like this one thing is bad,
right? If you don't like Zionism,
yeah, it's problematic because you cannot have you can't have a decent conversation. You can't have a meeting of the minds.
Right.
Yeah, because now the question becomes, okay, when you really look at the history and you look at the issue, like the Israeli government, it's like it's state-sanctioned violence, it's ethnic cleansing, right? Like it's a fascist state. It's like really, really clearly bad. And so it's like, what else do they have to do for us to like be able to criticize that state, right? And it like not be considered anti-Semitic, right?
Well,
like,
I think that's a great point, Michelle, because I think that kind of gets lost, where a lot of people, if you say you're pro-Palestine, I happen to be pro-Palestine in the situation. When you bring that up, people are like, well, you're against Israelis. And I don't think that's true. It's a criticism of the Israeli government. And I think that, just like most places, by far there are more good Israelis than there are bad Israelis. Just like anywhere, there are more good people than there are bad people. And I'm sure there are tons of people who disagree with the Israeli government, but they have no choice but to be represented by that government. So I think that, that kind of gets lost in the conversation. There's this conflation of Israelis and the Israeli government, just like in other countries, there's a conflation of Americans and the American government. There are so many things that I disagree with that the American government does in other countries, but we have no choice but internationally to be represented by our government, So I think that a lot of that, people saying it's anti-Semitism is rooted in the fact that they really are conflating the Israeli people with the horrible actions of the Israeli government that I am against, I despise,
right.
but
that has nothing to do with Israeli, because I find, you know, the Israeli community and also Jewish people, I find them fantastic. And I think that, you know, we stand with them without standing with the Israeli government.
Yeah.
And Netanyahu's pretty corrupt. Like all those people that are the heads of that government seem to be at least under investigation very often. And so, you know, are these the best leaders for this country to resolve an issue that's been happening for a long time in a peaceful manner? Probably not, because people that like war and violence appreciate that, and those end up being a lot of the times the most fervent like followers. Like those are the votes that they want to win. These are the people that want to overturn the election because they believe in this guy who's their hero and does things with a strong fist instead of like trying to deal with people in a more humane way, it seems like to me, at least.
And I think that a big part of the problem for citizens, or even, you know, people related to Israel, is that they have this underlying PTSD. Like I look at like the Black community, for example, and because of slavery, there is an undercurrent of PTSD that has just continued on from generation to generation. So we feel certain ways about certain things, and it is what it is, and we work through these things. But these feelings do exist. So I think that for many, you know, people in the from the Jewish community, you know, their feeling may be that they're being, you know, taken advantage of, or people are trying to, you know, get rid of them, back to ethnic cleansing because of everything that their forebears suffered, and they're not willing or able, you know, to see what is happening right in front of their eyes to other people, you know, who are now suffering the same type of injustices that their forebears, you know, once experienced. I was at a Chinese restaurant in Manhattan once, and my husband and I were just sitting there eating our food, minding our own business, having a lovely conversation. And there was an old Jewish couple sitting across from us, and the husband starts, you know, just starts loud talking, you know, so you could hear what he was saying. And he goes on to say how slavery was not as bad as the Holocaust, nowhere near as bad, and why anyone would say that. I mean, he's just going on and on and on, which was so weird. Like my husband and I, we were the only Black people in the restaurant, so I'm like, I think he's directing that to us. It just feels very pointed. And then, of course, I had to, you know, because I'm from Philadelphia, you know, I was like, you know, I can't understand why some people continue to harp on something that's so ridiculous. We had one group of people who suffered, another group of people who suffered. We both suffered. So this is not the time to compare suffering or to say that one suffered more than another. We all suffered great tragedies and should be respectful of that. And for you not to think that, for you to somehow, you know, say that your suffering was worse just so that you can say that mine wasn't bad, or that I should not feel any type of way because of the history of my people, that is insanity. And I probably said it a little stronger because then he just kind of shut up and put his head down and kept eating his soup. I think it was wine. I'm not sure.
It's always interesting to me when people try to make there be like a pain pissing contest. You know, when there's like a horrible tragedy that happens, and then somebody's like, well, little do you know, in 1864, this happened to this town. It's like, oh, well, yeah, that was also really shitty. We don't have to compare our pain and compare our tragedies to see what was worse when we, just like Laura said, we've all suffered. It makes no sense. And I just wish that we could get to a point where, I mean, the situation with Israel and Palestine, it's you know, never going to end. It's never going to end because the ruling power feels like never again. Their attitude is never again. We're never going to be victimized again. And they refuse to see the people that they're currently victimizing. And then the people that are being victimized are like, we don't deserve this. We're going to go after you. It's a horrible, horrible, vicious cycle. And I don't see how it can ever end. I don't see how. I don't.
Yeah, I think if they were to take the land, because right now it's like Israel has the better portion of the land. When America came in and gave land away as if they had anything to do with anything, and took land from Palestine, gave it to, Israel. They gave Israel the better portion of the land. Honestly, it's by the water, whatever. I've never been, but I heard the beaches are wonderful. I think what they should do is then divide it in the other direction.
Yeah, but
Everybody
this
gets
is
good.
divided based on the Bible, the Old Testament, right? So like that's giving them back their. That's why it's birthright, because in the Bible it says that this is their land. Although there's conflicting stuff in the Bible too. There's conflicting stuff in the Bible, like they're not supposed to have land. So it's like very conflated and confusing. Like it's a lot. There's a lot of different theories on why they should have that land too. I forget the dude's name, but he's the guy who created Zionism and
Theodore Herzl.
That's his name. Thank you. And they deserve this land. This is their land. They need to go back. But then like Hasidic Jewish people, most of them are like, hey, I forget. Yeah, there's a sect that's like, hey, like we're not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to have any land really. It's very confusing. I mean, and not for nothing, I think I could be wrong, but I think of a lot of Jewish Americans are stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? Like we are taught the atrocities that happen, and they don't want that to happen to them again, and they have this land to kind of escape to protect themselves from it, right? But at what cost? At whose cost? And are you doing the same thing or a similar thing that happened to you? Like it's pretty simple. It's simple, but it becomes complicated because of historical connotations and just the recent memory. Less than 100 years ago.
I was going to say that a lot of what I've heard, is especially Jewish Americans, at least in my circles, and it could be my bubble of people that I am around, what I watch, but I've heard the vast majority of Jewish Americans that I've been listening to come out as pro-Palestine. And in the discourse that I've heard, the limited amount that I've heard, a lot of the people that are so hardcore pro-Israel are pushing the anti-Semitism thing, are trying to conflate it with the Holocaust, are right-wing Zionists, Christians who believe that, like as described in their version of the Bible, that this is, the chosen race and that they have to protect them at all costs because that's their ticket into heaven. Whoa. That like clouds the issue, because now it's not just about land. It's not just about human rights. It's about your religion as, some guy who lives in Texas.
Right. So it's so funny because they're like, only 1/3 of the Jews will convert to Christianity, and then the rest of the Jewish people are going to die. So Jesus can come back and save us all.
Like, it's so fucked up.
That's the Christian side of it. Yeah.
And people really believe this stuff. Lawmakers are really making decisions based on that belief.
A book that could be definitely make believe. It could definitely be make believe. It could have been Stephen King of 2,000 years ago, wrote this book, high off cocaine and drunk, and now everybody believes it as gospel, literally. And then they're creating all this. I mean, for so many years, religion has created huge problems. And I don't deny anybody's faith or belief, but it seems, at least now to me, maybe because I just think differently. I'm not super religious anymore, but it just seems like a lot to do for somebody who's supposed to be about love and, taking care of your fellow man, like most religions are. So I don't understand how it ends up being, there's always a war or some sort of battle.
Because people are evil, and everyone, they're self-centered, and they want what they believe serves them. And unfortunately, all the good things that should be focused in on, whether it's Christianity or other religions, people, if there were no religion, people would still find a way to be cruel to one another
Yeah.
because it's something, and it's not everyone, it's something in certain people
Yes.
Who just feels though they should have all the land, they should have all the money. The only way that they can exist and have feelings of power is to, trample upon, another person or people, and that is a human flaw.
Yes, it is a human flaw.
And I don't know how we fix that. I guess we try to make more people better than not, but there are always going to be those strong people who people follow. These charismatic people who say, oh, we should, get away or do away with everyone who has a skin tone of this color or has hair of this texture. And that's what it comes down to. Because even with evangelicals, if we really look at it, I mean, yes, we can look at the Bible, but so much of it still has to do with racism.
Right, white supremacy. Yeah.
It's white supremacy.
Yeah.
That's what it is. This idea of white supremacy. That's what it all continues to come back to. Yeah. And other cultures who then take on this ideology that is clearly centered and began in ideas of white supremacy. That is what the continuing problem is. And that's what needs to stop. It just needs to stop.
You know what needs to stop? Laura, on a side note, you know what needs to stop?
What's that?
People telling me what to do with my money.
So true.
Well, at least this one gentleman, he was a telecom CEO.
Mm-hmm.
He went to yeah, you like that shit. It was he gave graduates $1,000 and then told them to give up half. They just graduated college. I ain't giving nobody nothing, dog. That's just me. Hold on, let me put myself in the center right now. Hold up. All right, yes.
The rant zone.
I'm not giving anybody anything. Because you're already a grad. You just graduated college. Are you broke? Yeah. Is it nice to get $1,000 when you're broke? Absolutely. Should you share it with who? Another college student that got $1,000 from you too? No. Those are the only people I know. I'm not gonna give it to anybody else. I keep it in my pockets. I'll buy some and I'll make some investments. Maybe I'll buy some weed for cheap, maybe resell it, keep on doing the college thing. I don't know, but I'm definitely not gonna give you $1,000. And they probably didn't even get the stimulus checks. Their parents got their stimulus checks. So this is it right here. This is it.
Greg, you're just proving the point. Listen, this CEO is trying to teach people not to be self-centered. We were just having that conversation, and now you are proving the argument. You have
wait, hold on. There's a trickle-down economics. If I keep the money and I spend it somewhere, somebody has to work at that place, so I'm actually giving them a job because I'm spending all of the money myself.
But if you give 50%, okay, that is making your heart grow 3 sizes bigger, right? Like,
I want my pockets to grow.
But then you have some other person who needs it. It's like giving, Greg. That is the true reward.
That's not the American way.
But
this is the American way.
Problem.
Yes, we just did. We just did have a conversation about the American way being a problem.
I can understand flip off that money, but
I hate the idea of some CEO being like, "Congratulations, you have tons of college debt. Here's $1,000. Like, give half away. Like you give half away.
Right.
What percentage of your yearly income were those $1,000 checks?
Right.
Was it half? Was it half, sir? No, I don't think so.
He probably makes that every 15 minutes. He probably makes $1,000 every 15 minutes.
He may be the most generous CEO in the world. We don't know it.
The guy in the that went to, what was it, Howard? And he paid off everybody's student loan like $1 billion.
Morehouse, I think. It was Howard. Okay.
It was Morehouse. It was
one of them.
It was there. So yeah, he paid off there. That's altruistic. That's with the money.
But wait a minute now. What about
half away? He didn't say, okay, you get 2 semesters and get 2 semesters to somebody else.
He was trying to teach a lesson. But going back real quick to the guy who did pay off that student debt, can you imagine like being like a kid who like worked really hard to make, took some extra classes so they could like graduate like a semester early, and then they miss out on having their tuition paid for because they weren't a part of that graduating class, or like, you know what I mean? They maybe worked and they got out earlier. I'm just saying I'd have been mad. I'm like, I did everything right. I worked really hard. I got grades. I graduated early so I could get into the workforce and help my family. And then here comes this, and everybody else gets like this one. They've been in school for an extra year. They graduated this year and they get, I'd have been mad. I've been petty like that.
Or even worse would be the person who didn't graduate. Even worse would be the person who didn't graduate because they were like 1 credit short.
Yes.
Damn.
They forgot that one damn class, that one elective they didn't do.
Hey, and Morehouse is not cheap.
No.
Morehouse is like $35,000 a year.
Not cheap. It's not cheap.
It is not cheap. So if he paid that, damn.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
Yeah, it's I think there was, I don't remember the exact parameters of the gift. I mean, there was some, things that went along with it. But back to your story, Greg. Okay, the CEO gives $1,000, but really he's giving $500. I mean, that's still, something, right? That's still
good. No, it's definitely something.
$500. Like, just give them $500. Don't put the burden on them. Yeah. And like I think that everyone should give to charity. Even if you're a college student, like you give what you can, like if you can't volunteer your money, like volunteer your time. I think that you should do all those things. I just hate the idea of some millionaire being like, give half away. Like, no. It's very easy to say give half away when you're sitting in your McMansion petting your horse.
He's like a
don't have a horse. It can't get up the stairs. So maybe
he's like not a property manager, but like a developer.
Okay.
And he, he donates to like cancer research and treatment and blah 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 bullshit. That's how they hide money. That's how they hide money. Cut it out. They're like, I want to save the world. No, you want to save some money.
Yeah, he's hiding with all those cancer patients.
That's bullshit. You take a patient's hat, going to the galas, you paying $10,000 for the galas. Shut up.
Under their beds.
Yeah. He's hiding money. He's greasing palms. Right? That's what you do, grease palms? Yeah. Greasing palms, doing all that.
Palms are real greasy.
Palms are real greasy. White's out of town, dog.
Oh my gosh.
And it's and you know what? And it's not a lot. I mean, yeah, it's 490. He's an owner. He got money. He's 490 students he gave $1,000 to. That's $500,000. If he was able to do that, just let him keep the $1,000 each instead of giving. Why don't you give another 500 to 490 people? Just walk around and hand it to them like that. Bam, bam, bam.
And I mean, is he going back and checking? Isn't this a suggestion?
He's encouraging them to do it.
Yeah.
I'll give it to my mom and be like, yo, I don't have no money.
But that's still giving half, right? If you were to give half to a sibling or to a parent, that's still the idea of giving. I mean, I don't know the entire story, but that's still giving. I think that.
What if I give it to what if I just give it back to myself, but I use my club name?
That's legit. That's legitimate.
That's two people. That's two different people.
Unless your mom got a bunch of bills in your name when you was 10, and now you got bad credit.
Well, people were doing it. People were doing it. Credit cards, cable bills, telephone bills.
It's real. That's real. See, you know what? Privileged people don't understand that children in BIPOC communities have all kind of things in their names, like the gas bill and the lease. They just don't get it.
Oh, they know this. The privileged people do know this. But they do it differently. They're employees at their parents' company.
Yes.
Right? And then they get a fake paycheck. Well, I don't know if it's fake, but they get a paycheck, they get all the taxes and shit, and then they can be tax write-offs and all that. They do it, but they do it smart, not because they're struggling.
Like no 9-year-old should have a water bill coming to them.
No.
You got 6 kids, you got at least 6 chances to get your electric cut off. You get it cut back.
Oh God. Oh wow. Okay. All right, cool. So we know what you would do with that money, Greg. So that's
I'm keeping it. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, find me. Do it. What are you gonna do? You want to fight me? You fight me.
Oh gosh. All right. So let's move on to Danielle. Dating apps. What's going on with vaxxing and dating apps?
Yeah, things are heating up in the dating world, you guys. I've never been on a dating app. I got married at 23. So I dated my husband since I was 19. So I've never been on a dating app, but dating apps are doing something very cool right now where they are offering vaccine badges. You can get a little thing on your profile that's like, I'm vaccinated. And I love that. I love that. Hinge is doing it, Bumble, Tinder, all the big ones. They're all doing it. I love that. It helps to kind of weed out all the Republicans, right? We're like, no vaccine badge, like you're a Republican, you voted Trump, like you're out of here. So I love that. It's like a nice little visual cue. Love that. I have some suggestions for Hinge and Bumble and Tinder and some badges that they could do. So the first one was a Johnson & Johnson badge. So like who got Johnson & Johnson. Like you get a vaccine badge, but it's like different if you got Johnson & Johnson. So you can be like, maybe not.
It has an emoji that's like,
yeah, shrug. Like baby soap. You're like, no tears for me.
Wait, but how are they going to verify that?
Well, they would have to do a blood test. So I really hope that they've been saving up their money. They need to be blood testing.
Everybody, right?
Everybody submit your blood tests
because they got bootleg vaccine cards.
Yeah.
When the vaccine is free. The vaccine is free.
Cannot be too safe. We need lab blood tests. Go to bumble.com to get yours delivered. You should get a badge if you wear your mask over your nose.
Right.
Which have a little nose that's like, oh, see, that person's wearing their mask, right? If they don't have it, you're like, you probably got COVID. And then another one, and I think this is the most important one, ladies, I mean, you know what I'm talking about, a wash my ass badge. Because I'm so tired of these men that don't wash their asses. So we need to know who is letting the water between those cheeks. We need to know. And that should be a badge. It should be like a peach with like a water droplet. The water goes touches the hole.
Wow, this seems like Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. They're gonna be wearing sashes when they go on dates. They're gonna have all their badges ready to go.
Yeah, so please go to hinge.com, order your sash, and your badges will arrive on their own. We're watching you, we're following you. We'll know when you're back.
Well, listen, did you guys get your New York State, or you're not, you guys, well, 2 of you are not in New York. So Danielle, did you get your New York State Vax Pass? I have it on my phone. I downloaded it. So
I haven't gotten it yet. This is like, I've heard of the vaccine passport, and I'm like, is it like the black card? Do they reach me? Do I reach them? Like, do I have to spend a certain amount on cough syrup?
What is the vaccine?
What's that?
What's the vaccine pass?
All their information is, they've collected it in New York State through the interwebs or digital means, and you just put in your information, what your name is, when you were vaccinated and where, and then bye-bye. You get a little, your little bar deal there, and you can go to various events. So that, because like right now, like for instance, the New York Film Festival will be accepting, what we'll be accepting 100% capacity for the film festival, but you have to be able to prove that you've been vaccinated. And one way of doing that is by having your New York State pass, or if you're from another place and you have a pass, and they scan it, and you're in.
Wait, you said Tribeca?
The New York, yeah, I believe the Tribeca Film Festival.
Robert De Niro don't give a shit about nobody.
No.
But yeah, I mean that makes sense. If everybody, if you're proven to be vaccinated, I mean, this is where we're gonna have to be eventually.
I'm still
anyway.
wearing masks.
You know what I mean?
Still wearing masks.
Yeah,
I'm still wearing masks. I mean, unless I'm with people that are, how do I put this? That I know for the most part have been very diligent in being safe and like staying home and just being careful. I'll take off my mask. Yeah. But if it's one of my family members that be wilding in the club and smoking hookah this whole fucking time, I'm gonna be a little leery. I'm gonna step back a little bit and wear the mask. I'll give you a kiss on the cheek, but it's gonna be mask to cheek. It's not gonna be cheek to cheek.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Greg, you just reminded me that hookah exists.
Hookah.
I was like, well, remember when hookah was like very, very popular?
It's still popular. You're just a good person that's staying home during a pandemic. You're not smoking hookah at 3 o'clock in the morning in somebody's
basement.
basement.
They did have the little mouth guards at the hookah bars.
Yeah, the plastic mouth guard. Yes, that's
like the little condoms.
That's how you sanitize the whole room of people's water particles. There's saliva particles in the air.
Yes, that's what you say.
I think I smoked. I went to a hookah bar and smoked, and I think I got diarrhea one time. It could have been that or the Hennessy. I'm not sure.
Greg, you need to make that into a book.
That's it. No more.
Hookah and I got diarrhea.
Diarrhea. It was either the hookah or the Hennessy. One of the two.
One of the two.
But I did get in a fight at the end of the night.
You got into a fight?
Yeah.
Oh wow, God. Greg.
Was it a fight over the bathroom?
Yes. My booty was on fire, but I had to get it anyway. It was a rough night.
The whole idea of hookah, the whole like I can't even wrap my brain around that right now because we're so removed from that kind of environment. But just the overall idea of a hookah lounge right now is just triggering.
Disgusting.
I can't even fathom.
It didn't interest me before, and it doesn't interest me. It interests me even less now. I don't want to be around people breathing heavy, taking large inhales and exhales. I don't want that. I don't want to do that.
I will say though, when I was in college, we met a guy at a hookah lounge who became obsessed with my roommate and would come over to our house and bring us Mexican food pretty much every day. So, hookah bars, not all bad. Not 100% evil. They're at least a little bit good.
I used to love it.
But you said stop.
Yeah, he was in love with my roommate. And after they stopped dating, he would text me years after, 3 years after, once a year and be like, hey, are you still talking to Eden?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and he would also send me videos because he was a tree trimmer. He just happened to be in Orlando. He wasn't a guy who lived in Orlando. He just happened to be there passing through on his way to Texas for this tree trimming job. So he would once every couple years send me videos of him up in a tree, swinging around, trimming trees and stuff. I guess to show what a virile male he was. Look how high up I can get. Oh wow, dude.
Hey, cool. He gets paid good for that. That's expensive.
He was buying literally every day a dorm full of women Mexican food. So he had money and he would take us out to IHOP all the time. It was awesome.
A traveling tree trimmer. All right.
What was her name? Ida? What was your friend's name?
Say again?
Was it your friend's
name?
Her
name was Eden, and the guy's, this is crazy, the guy's name I don't know, because the first night we met him, we all just called him Dimples, because he had dimples, so I never learned his name. He's just Dimples.
Rude.
Dimples out
He
there.
fed you. He fed all of you, and nobody remembers his name.
Could not even guess what his name is. I was gonna say maybe it's David, but then I realized it's only because it starts like with D, like Dimples. So I'm like pretty sure that's not his name. I'm pretty sure I just pulled that in my head, but I don't know his name. His name was Dimples. Yeah.
Wow. And
that one was good, man.
It's years. He's like, hey, Dimples.
Like literally, I think the most recent was like a couple years ago. He texted me and was like, "Hey."
Wow.
It's like, hey, dude, what's up?
Wow. That's crazy. But speaking of possibly inappropriate situations and relationships, I wanted to dive in real quick to talk about the Cuomo brothers. You know, yeah. Well, Chris Cuomo is in trouble because he was involved in some strategy sessions regarding his governor brother, who's been accused of, you know, being handsy and inappropriate with staffers. So, as a journalist, he's supposedly not supposed to involve himself in politics. And so, since this is an issue that is going to or could possibly affect his brother's political career and a trajectory, CNN has issued an apology, and Chris Cuomo himself he got in some trouble, and so he went on his show and apologized. The thing is, though, CNN knew that Chris Cuomo has not reported on his brother's scandal at all because he had already had a discussion where he said he would not be able to be objective because it is his brother. But they did say that he should not have been involved in any conversations where he was giving any advice to his brother. See, the way I feel about it, I'm like, but that's like his brother. What did he think he was going to do?
What do you think? Yeah.
Right. It's so ridiculous. They're like, oh, you're not being a real journalist. It's my brother. What do you mean? What are you talking about? No. I'm not going to shit on my brother on TV. Not like that. Not over something so serious. He's got everybody else doing it. Why do I have to do it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, period. As a journalist, he shouldn't be doing any story that has to do with his brother. Like, period. It's a conflict of interest. It's not something he should be doing either. Even if he hated his brother and wanted to talk about, you know what I mean? Either way, he should have to be reporting about his brother. That would have to be something that would have to be handed off to his co-anchor. That doesn't make any sense. And fuck yeah, of course he's giving his brother advice. This is stupid. Like, people are just.
It's hypocritical because when everyone was in love with Governor Cuomo, you know, he and Chris, you know, they were all like, he would come on the show, they would joke around. Oh yeah, mom loves you best. Mom loves you best. And maybe it's politics, but we know that having these enjoyable conversations was giving a positive light, you know, to the governor. So this was playing politics, you know, when everyone was on his side. But now that people are like, oh, he's a creep, you know, we probably should be canceling him. Now it's a problem, and I don't, you know, I mean, I get it because, you know, ratings and you don't want irate viewers. However, to say that his brother, you know, should not, or to not expect his brother to give him any counsel. And I think part of it is that they did not like the counsel that Chris Cuomo gave, because he said, don't, like, you know, just stick it out. Don't give up, you know, keep going, you know, because maybe he believes his brother's version. It's his brother. I mean, it's just like when, and it's not exactly just like, but people are still so angry at, you know, Hillary Clinton because of the whole Monica Lewinsky situation and how she was mad at Monica and, you know, wanted, you know, did not want anything good for her. But I mean,
bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. For people to be like, oh, he should have been nice to the lady that my husband cheated on me with. You should be nice. What? His mistress? What? Yeah. That's not. That doesn't happen in movies. Like, it doesn't happen in the soap operas that people watch. Like, that never happens. Why would you be nice to somebody that hurt you?
Yeah, yeah. And they could say, well, you know, well, She stayed married. Yeah, she kept her marriage, but who knows what went on behind doors. Also, she had a job to do. She was trying to become president.
Right.
So I can't even be mad at her.
And like the sanctity of what's more important, the sanctity of marriage, or like being nice to my husband's mistress?
Yeah.
No.
What? And then they're like, oh, look, yeah, it's just weird. And it's those, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but like it's weird. It's those evangelical Christians a lot of times, or Republicans, that are like so uber religious, and then they want to pick and choose the things that they want to put their religion on. Like, oh, what do you want to do? Get her a divorce? It'd have been even worse.
Yeah.
Well, the hypocrisy is insane. I mean, they did that, but then they also had Trump in the White House, who had multiple affairs,
abortion affairs, everything.
His wife was taking borderline pornographic photos. Like, come on, they're hypocrites.
That's okay,
Well, and also to Greg's point, like, and I do see what you guys are saying, but also, and I think it's different when you're in a situation. But I'm not mad at Hillary Clinton for like reacting the way she reacted. I think that's like a very human thing. But also, like, I really do believe that if your partner cheats with somebody, whoever that person is, like, that person doesn't have an obligation to you. Like, they didn't make a commitment to you. Your partner did, your spouse did. So that person went and slept with your husband. Was that like maybe like morally questionable? Yeah, it's something that I would do. No, people make decisions for themselves, but did that person hurt me or do anything intentionally? Like, no, because they were not involved in my life in a way that to hurt me. If it was my best friend or something, that'd be something else. But if it's just like that person never made a commitment to me, so it would have to be on your partner. And I think, especially when you're in the public eye, it's hard to be like, it's his fault and I want to divorce that person, even if that's how you feel, because your husband was the president of the United States, and like there's really nothing you can do. So I see why I took that route, but like for me personally, like that is how I feel about it. And I think a lot of those feelings, like of like, oh, a mistress, and like she's so devious, duplicitous, like women trying to steal people's husbands. A lot of it is rooted in misogyny and in just like not believing women and like not trusting women. And like I think it's so important that we society like trust and believe women, because women suffer so much. Everybody suffers, but women suffer so much judgment and so much, pressure in society. Like, I just feel like you really have to believe that sometimes married men prey on women.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the emotional reaction, the initial emotional reaction is going to be like, you did this to me, right? That's with clarity, right? You're speaking with clarity. But at the moment, I think like the internal rage, I could understand why she would do that. Why she would attack, right? Yeah. You do that to anybody.
No, because here's my thing. And Danielle, I totally get it. And you're right, because if the person who you have made that the bond with, the person who has promised you to be faithful, that is the person who you are to hold responsible overall. Yes. However, that woman knew she was married, and she knew that she was going to put her in a very awkward position when they found out. So it wasn't like, and I don't want to diminish, like Gary, who works at Radio Shack, but it's not like he was Gary who worked at Radio Shack and he had his girlfriend on the side and, and that was just going to be a little thing that happened. We're talking about something that was going to unfold in front of the entire country. And here you have this woman, who's going to be put on blast. She was put on blast for like saying she wasn't going to make chocolate chip cookies. Yeah. So here you have, I can see where all these emotions would just explode on everyone. I would blame him the most, but I would blame her. I was married. And so what I'm saying is not that women aren't treated unfairly. I say that everyone should be treated fairly and everyone should be held responsible for doing things they shouldn't have any business doing, because the person was married, you knew they were, and you shouldn't have done it, and it was going to be ugly, and it was ugly. And that's what I have to say about it.
Yeah. Hey, Laura, could Gary work at Chili's and not Radio Shack?
Yes.
Okay.
Gary also works at the supermarket. Gary works a lot of places.
He got a lot of jobs.
He's getting around. He got a lot of kids.
Yeah, he says he's at work a lot.
He's got to pay that child support.
But I will say this: Monica Lewinsky was, how old was she?
She was young.
She was young.
She was super young.
She was incredibly young.
She was
And I
very
will
young.
say, and this is not excusing it, just to be clear, but she was incredibly young, and I cannot imagine what it would be like to be that young and be seduced by the president of the United States.
Sure. Yes.
When I was 20, can you imagine being 21 years old and the president of the United States wants to have sex with you?
Yes,
I would have done it at 21.
Like,
I would have been like, I'm moving in here. I live in the
There's a
White
part
House
of me,
now.
like-
Get out of here, Hillary.
She was,
I'm
you know, a
21.
willing participant, but there's also a part of me that, like, she might have also felt like, can I say no?
Right. Absolutely.
That's true too. That's absolutely true.
Can I say no? But you know,
I think I just would have been too afraid because it's like one thing, you know, to have. I mean, this is like not only just a married man, but it's the president, and I know how alluring that probably was, and it probably was scary too. So, wow, you know, what do I do? This is big and major, and that's why she was talking to Linda Tripp, you know, and that's how it all came out because she was confiding in Linda Tripp, I guess, and getting.
And that's the one.
Yeah, Linda Tripp should have kept her damn mouth shut.
Yeah, she's the one.
Linda's the one.
Because she's the one that she played everyone. You know,
She really did.
She was not a friend at all. Because if she was a friend, she would have said, Monica,
no,
don't
Yep.
do this. This is not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for anything or anyone. Don't do this. Meanwhile, she's like, oh, tell me more. Oh, you did what?
Keep the dress, girl.
dress. Keep the dress. Keep it. But who tells somebody, you know, because you know you're setting things up. And you said, if you're telling somebody to keep.
Why would you keep- That's nasty.
Nasty.
All my socks are clean, you know?
Oh.
Every single one of them. There's no proof. No.
We're coming to check, Greg.
They're all clean.
No,
They're all
take your
black
word
socks,
for
so you should be
it.
Mm.
able to notice.
Oh my.
But let's get back around to the Cuomo brothers. I think it's ridiculous to say that he shouldn't give his brother like advice, or to assume that he wouldn't have given his brother advice because it's his brother. And I know that, you know, like journalists, I guess they have a credo. I don't know, but I mean, I guess they're supposed to. They're supposed to be totally objective. But when it comes to your family, that's.
Well, I was going to say, Laura, to your point, do you think that because Chris Cuomo reported and like so prominently featured his brother in a positive light and did so much to support him during COVID and all those things, make sure that he looked really good in his COVID response, do you think that he's obligated to come out and be like, you know, these are the allegations against my brother, like these? Because I almost feel like. Like either like don't say anything about your brother, like you like say nothing about him, and then you can say whatever you want behind the scenes because you're not in the public eye saying it. But also, at first I was like, yeah, he shouldn't say it. He shouldn't say anything. But then also I was like, there are people who, let's say they get their news only from Chris Cuomo. He's their guy. And there are a lot of, especially older people who are like that. They were really loyal to one newscaster. And they're just getting this messaging. It's kind of like those like YouTubers who will like fuck up really bad on their YouTube channel. So then they'll go on their second channel and apologize. And be like, oh, but like nobody really sees it.
Yeah.
So I feel like there is journalistic integrity in coming out and being like, these are the allegations against my brother. They're horrible. Like these are the facts that are being reported. These are what the women are saying. And like, if it was somebody else, like I would believe it. Like, but I understand how that's incredibly hard to do as a brother, and you have to decide if you want to be a brother or a journalist. And I think you should choose to be a brother.
I mean, it's tough because I mean, CNN though also, you know, probably was like, just don't go, because the thing is, because even if he did say something as a brother, he might report the fact that this is what is being, you know, what he is being accused of. Don't believe that. No, I mean that's
right, which would not be good.
So that wouldn't be good either. So maybe it is best that he not weigh in because he could say it, but still say, yeah, my brother is accused of touching a woman, you know.
Women, right?
So it's a mess. I just I understand. Everyone wants to. CNN wants to try to maintain its integrity to some point, but to pretend as if they wouldn't expect Chris Cuomo to advise his brother. But also, I mean, people who were on the call are the people who came out and said this thing happened. You can't trust anybody.
You can't trust no damn body.
No.
I mean, he really should have kept his advice and his counsel to their private, just
personal conversation.
Go to the house. Go to the house
between the two of them.
Yeah. Like that, it should not have been a group phone call. That was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, you can't trust no damn body. People out here just ain't shit.
Yeah, you can't trust them.
You can't.
So I don't know who among us we can't trust. I guess we'll find out next week. But
imposter.
So guys, we did it. We made it through another Goss and Goss Gab. Yay for us. Yay. So come back next week, have some fun, hang out, listen to us shoot the shit, have a good time. We hope you had a good time. My name is Laura Canty Samuel.
I'm Pavar Snipe.
I'm Danielle Clark.
And I'm Greg Cornejo.
And we're the Goss.
We're the Goss.
We are the Goss. See you next week, everybody.
Night.
Bye.